The conference room gleamed with polished mahogany and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Manhattan skyline. Maya Chen sat at the far end of the table, her worn portfolio clutched against her chest. Watching five executives in $1,000 suits exchange knowing glances, she recognized those looks. She'd seen them her entire life. "Ms. Chen," the CEO began, his voice dripping with practiced politeness. "We appreciate you coming in today, but I think we're looking for someone with more traditional credentials." He didn't say what they were all thinking. Someone who looks the part. Someone from the right schools. Someone who isn't a 26-year-old woman from a small town nobody's heard of. Maya stood, smiled graciously, and walked out. But she didn't leave the building. She went to the lobby cafe, opened her laptop, and got to work. That was 5 years ago. Today, Maya's tech company is valued at $847 million. Those same executives, they're now scrambling to partner with her, sending emails that begin with, "Perhaps we were premature in our assessment." But Maya remembers. And the universe has a peculiar sense of justice. This is a story about 5 devastating regrets that haunt those who made the fatal mistake of underestimating a determined soul. Because determination doesn't just move mountains, it builds empires on top of them. Marcus Wellington III had inherited his venture capital firm from his father, who'd inherited it from his father. Investing was in his blood, or so he believed. When Maya pitched her revolutionary AI algorithm that could predict market trends with 94% accuracy, Marcus spent exactly 12 minutes listening before cutting her off. "Sweetheart," he'd said, the condescension thick as honey, "I've been doing this for 15 years. These kinds of projections look good on paper, but the real world doesn't work that way. Come back when you have some actual business experience." Maya thanked him and left. 3 months later, a smaller firm believed in her vision and invested $500,000 for 8% equity. Today, that stake is worth $67.7 million. Marcus saw the Forbes article. He saw Maya's face on the cover, her company listed among the fastest-growing startups in history. He calculated what he'd lost, not just the money, but the prestige, the bragging rights, the legacy investment that would have defined his career. He reached for his phone a dozen times to call her. He never did. What do you say to someone whose diamond you mistook for glass? How do you apologize for being so blind that you could unsee genius standing right in front of you? The opportunity didn't just pass him by, it transformed someone else's life while he watched from the sidelines, forever wondering, what if? When you underestimate someone, you don't just hurt them, you rob yourself of the chance to be part of something extraordinary. Opportunities dressed in unexpected packages are still opportunities. But they only knock once. Sarah Mitchell thought she was doing Alina Rodriguez a favor by hiring her as an assistant. Alina had immigrated from Colombia 3 years earlier, worked 2 jobs, and attended night school for her MBA. She was brilliant, tireless, and hungry for success. But Sarah kept Alina in the shadows. "You're not ready for client-facing roles," she'd say, even as Alina drafted the proposals that won $1 million contracts. "Maybe in a few more years." Those few more years never came. Alina asked for a promotion after securing their 3 biggest clients. Sarah laughed, actually laughed. "Lena, you're a great assistant, but let's be realistic about your limitations. Some people are meant to support, and some are meant to lead." Alina handed in her resignation the next day. 6 months later, she launched her own consulting firm. She took a different approach. She saw potential where others saw limitations. She hired immigrants, single mothers, people from unconventional backgrounds. She built a team of hungry, determined individuals who had everything to prove and nothing to lose. Within 2 years, Elena's firm had absorbed 40% of Sarah's market share. Clients loved Elena's fresh perspective and her team's relentless work ethic. Sarah's company started bleeding talent. Everyone wanted to work for the woman who believed in second chances and saw brilliance in unexpected places. Sarah watches now as Alina receives humanitarian awards, speaks at conferences, and builds an empire on the foundation of kindness and recognition. The business media calls Alina the people's CEO. They call Sarah yesterday's news. Every client Sarah loses, she thinks, I created this. I pushed away my greatest asset and turned her into my biggest threat. When you suppress someone's potential, you don't eliminate the competition, you create it. And the person you underestimated will build their success on everything you failed to see in them. Professor Jonathan Whitmore was a legend in academic circles, or so he thought. For 20 years, he'd taught engineering at a prestigious university, published papers, and served on advisory boards. He saw himself as a gatekeeper of excellence. Then Amara Johnson entered his graduate program. Amara came from an underfunded public school system. She'd taught herself calculus from library books and built her first robot from recycled electronics. Her entrance exam scores were off the charts, but Professor Whitmore couldn't see past her background. "You're out of your depth here," he told her in their first meeting. "Maybe consider a less rigorous program." Amara didn't transfer. She worked harder than anyone else, stayed later, asked more questions. When she presented her thesis on sustainable energy solutions, Professor Whitmore gave her a C+. "It's too ambitious," he wrote. "Lacks practical grounding." Amara didn't argue. She published her research independently. 2 years later, her sustainable energy design won the Global Innovation Prize. Major corporations bid for her patents. She was invited to present at the United Nations. And in every interview, when asked about obstacles she'd overcome, Amara told the truth. A professor who tried to dim her light because it threatened his own. Professor Whitmore's name became synonymous with everything wrong in academia: bias, gatekeeping, the crushing of innovative minds. Students avoided his classes. Colleagues distanced themselves. His legacy transformed from legendary educator to cautionary tale. He wrote Amara a letter. She never responded. Why would she? His opinion had ceased to matter the moment the world recognized what he'd been too small-minded to see. Your judgment of others becomes a judgment of yourself. Underestimate someone determined, and the world will eventually see that you lacked the vision, not them. Your reputation isn't built on who you reject, it's destroyed by it. David Park was a senior manager who thought he knew everything. When his company hired Jasmine Lee, a 23-year-old with radical ideas about workplace culture and mental health, David rolled his eyes during every meeting she attended. "She's too young to understand how business actually works," he'd tell his colleagues. "All these innovative ideas are just trends. Give her a few years. She'll learn." Jasmine proposed flexible hours, mental health days, and collaborative workspaces. David blocked every suggestion. "This is a corporation, not a summer camp," he'd said in one memorable meeting, getting laughs from the other senior managers. Jasmine didn't fight. She documented everything: how employee turnover correlated with rigid policies, how productivity increased in departments that tried her methods, how much money the company was losing to burnout and dissatisfaction. When the CEO finally listened to Jasmine's data, everything changed. The company implemented her programs. Within a year, productivity increased 34%. Turnover dropped 56%, and they were named one of the best places to work in the country. Jasmine became VP of People Operations at 26. David reports to her now. But here's what haunts him most. He could have learned from her. He could have been her mentor, her advocate, her partner in transformation. Instead, he spent 2 years resisting someone who was trying to make everyone's life better, including his. Now, he watches her give keynote speeches and write best-selling books about workplace culture. Knowing he could have been part of that journey, he could have grown, evolved, and expanded his thinking. Instead, he chose the comfort of his assumptions and the poverty of his pride. Determined individuals don't just succeed, they evolve the world around them. When you underestimate them, you don't just lose an opportunity, you lose the chance to become better yourself. Growth often comes in unexpected packages. Refuse it, and you guarantee your own obsolescence. This is the regret that cuts deepest, the one that keeps people awake at 3 a.m. replaying conversations they can't take back. Maria Santos was Sofia Ramirez's sister. When Sofia announced she was leaving her secure teaching job to pursue her dream of opening a bakery, Maria was brutal. "You're being irresponsible," she said. "You have a daughter. You have bills. Dreams are for people who can afford them." Sofia asked Maria to invest $10,000 in her business. Maria refused. "I'm not throwing money away on a fantasy." Sofia found other investors, her former students. Her neighbors. People who believed in her tres leches cake and her infectious passion. She worked 18-hour days, perfected her recipes, and poured her heart into every creation. 5 years later, Sofia's Bakery is a local institution with 3 locations. Food Network featured her story. She's published a cookbook. She's living her dream in Technicolor. Maria has the money now to invest 10 times over. But it's not about the money. It's about the fact that she wasn't there. She wasn't in the photos of the grand opening. She's not in the dedication of the cookbook. When Sofia gives interviews about who believed in her when nobody else did, Maria's name is never mentioned. They still have family dinners. They're still sisters. But there's a distance now, a space where support should have been. Maria sees Sofia's joy and feels not celebration, but absence, the ghost of encouragement she never gave, the faith she never showed, the love she withheld when it mattered most. Money can be paid back. Time cannot. And the chance to be someone's champion, to stand beside them in their becoming, to share in the pure magic of watching someone you love prove the world wrong, that chance, once lost, never returns. This is the regret that transcends business and success. When you underestimate someone you care about, you lose something irreplaceable: the joy of their journey, the intimacy of shared belief, the profound connection that comes from saying, "I see you. I believe in you. I'm with you," before the world catches on. Success celebrated late is not the same as success supported early. Maya Chen now sits in boardrooms where people hang on her every word. She's gracious, successful, and remarkably kind to young entrepreneurs who remind her of herself. She doesn't gloat about her success or lecture those who doubted her. She doesn't need to, but sometimes, late at night when she's alone with her thoughts, she thinks about that conference room, those dismissive glances, that CEO's condescending tone, and she feels grateful, not bitter, but grateful because their underestimation became her fuel. Every no became a watch me. Every doubt became determination. Every closed door became motivation to build her own building with doors she controlled. The people who underestimated her live with their regrets. Maya lives with her triumph. And that's the ultimate justice. Your determination is your superpower. Their doubt is their problem. Keep going, keep building, keep proving not to them, but to yourself that you are exactly who you believe you are. The sweetest success isn't revenge. It's becoming so authentically, magnificently yourself that their opinion becomes irrelevant. They'll regret underestimating you, but you'll be too busy thriving to care.